Ain't no frontin' over here. What you saying? And ain't no frontin' over here. No frontin', no frontin' allowed. I don't think you hear me clear. Ain't no frontin' over here. How many times I gotta say I'm the truth? Real deal. Why these other rappers lie in the booth? I'm in the lab with a pen and a pad.
The Panthers' opportunity to sit atop the NFC South came down to, surprisingly, a kicking contest.
Step back. Give me room. Step back. Give me room. Step back.
Eddie Pinheiro had a chance to put the game away, but his miscues eventually gave Young-Ho Koo a window to save the game for the Falcons in the 37-34 overtime battle.
Stay pumping, adrenaline running like you took it.
But on Thursday night, in front of an exuberant but wet primetime audience, the Carolina Panthers were looking for revenge and to continue P.J. Walker's string of consecutive home wins as a starter. With both the Atlanta loss and the Cincinnati debacle fresh in their minds, job one was protecting the football and keeping it on the ground. But the less risky strategy produced few points in the first quarter. Just a single 41-yard Eddie Pinheiro field goal separated the two teams.
Head up in the clouds, started saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next.
But in the second quarter, the Panthers turned it up a notch as Laviska Shenault scampered 41 yards into the end zone to give Carolina a 10-0 lead. It was the padding Carolina needed to retain a one-touchdown lead going into the half. But the Shenault score didn't count as a receiving touchdown for Walker, despite having thrown the pass, because it was ruled to not be a forward pass.
So for me, it's just to go out there when I get the opportunity to make plays go. But you also got to be smart with the football, you know, keep the ball out of harm's way. Unfortunately, it was in harm's way a couple times today. You know, they fortunately dropped it, and so for us, it's just to continue to go out there and play. Last week was last week, and it's on to a new week every week.
The third quarter saw Atlanta begin to climb back into the mix. Drake London reeled in a 7-yard touchdown pass from Marcus Mariota to cap a 6-play, 42-yard drive, but the effort was dampened when Young-Ho Koo's point-after attempt failed. But Donta Foreman, who added 130 yards on 31 carries to bolster the Panthers' season-high 232 yards on the ground, had other ideas.
Nitro! Quarterback, it ain't nothing, just grind to it. If it's cool with you, roll it up and ride to it.
The 31 carries were a heavy load for Foreman, but a load worth shouldering, and the catalyst for the celebration of a lifetime.
We knew tonight was the night to come out here and just put it all together and show people that we are a good football team and we can get these wins and put ourselves right back in the chase to win the division. Like I was like, man, if I pop this, I'm going to the stands. But then the play after that, we ran another. I got the ball again. I was like, all right, if I get this, I'm going to the stands. And I made it happen. So I kind of had it predetermined already.
And Steve Wilks' strategy to control the line of scrimmage this game worked perfectly.
We talked all week. In order to win this game, we're going to have to control the line of scrimmage. And offensively, I thought we did a tremendous job. We rushed for 232. Foreman had 130 yards rushing on 31 carries. I think that's very impressive.
The Falcons began to paint a familiar comeback picture in the fourth quarter. Atlanta mounted an 8-play, 97-yard drive, capped by a Kadero Hodge 25-yard touchdown reception. But Young-Ho Koo had his point-after attempt blocked, leaving a 7-point buffer with under 3 minutes in the game. Marcus Mariota went 19 of 30 for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns on the night, but was sacked 5 times and intercepted once, including during the Falcons' last chance to tie the game. From their own 34, With 2.5 minutes left to play, the Falcons pushed toward the end zone, but Carolina's Marquise Haynes sacked Mariota twice during the drive, and the Falcons ended their final drive at their 15-yard line. Atlanta fell to 4-6, as Carolina improved to 3-7. Eddie Pinheiro kicked a total of 4 field goals and redeemed himself with some key makes from as far away as 49 yards. But the bad news for the Panthers, cornerback Dante Jackson, who went down in the fourth quarter. Jackson will now miss the remainder of the 2022 season because of a torn Achilles suffered in the game. Next up for the Carolina Panthers, the Baltimore Ravens, November 20th, in Baltimore, Maryland.